Hey friends, welcome to 1 Corinthians chapter 2. We've set the foundation of grace and understanding that this letter is written by Paul to the church at Corinth, specifically to believers in the local church. So we're going to jump in and see what else Paul has to say to us. Chapter 2, verse 1. And so it was with me, brothers and sisters. When I came to you, I did not come with eloquence or human wisdom as I proclaimed to you the testimony about God. For I resolved to know nothing while I was with you except Jesus Christ and him crucified. I came to you in weakness and with great fear and trembling. My message and my preaching were not with wise and persuasive words, but with a demonstration of the Spirit's power, so that your faith might not rest on human wisdom, but on God's power. I love that Paul's so transparent. He's scared to go to Corinth and to teach them, to be with them, to build this church and plant this community. But he does it, and he does it scared. There are so many things that I have walked away from simply because I'm scared to fail or scared to succeed. The truth of the matter is, it's in my fear, it's in my weakness that the Spirit of God works and is able to move. Verse 6. We do, however, speak a message of wisdom among the mature, but not the wisdom of this age or of the rulers of this age, who are coming to nothing. No, we declare God's wisdom, a mystery that has been hidden and that God destined for our glory before time began. None of the rulers of this age understood it, for if they had, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. However, as it is written, what no ear has heard, what no eye has seen, and what no human mind has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love him. We can't even begin to fathom what is in the mind of God, particularly towards his people. These are the things God has revealed to us by his Spirit. Revelation begins with God, and it's facilitated through his Spirit. The Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of God. For who knows a person's thought except their own spirit within them? In the same way, no one knows the thoughts of God except the Spirit of God. What we have received is not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, so that we may understand what God has freely given us. This is what we speak, not in words taught us by human wisdom, but in words taught by the Spirit, explaining spiritual realities with Spirit-taught words. The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolishness and cannot understand them because they are discerned only through the Spirit. The person with the Spirit makes judgments about all things, but such a person is not subject to merely human judgments, for who has known the mind of the Lord as to instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. Friends, I love this chapter because Paul lays out that there are spiritual realities that we as the church, we as Christians, get to understand simply because the Spirit of God reveals them to us. When Jesus goes back into heaven after his resurrection, he gives us the gift of the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit works as a teacher, as a leader, as a guide, as an intercessor in prayer, because the Spirit of God knows the thoughts of God, the heart of God, and it brings to our spirit that intimate relationship with the Father. Friends, I love this because it's the Spirit who searches all things. And we have to keep in mind, specifically as Paul talks to the people in Corinth, because they're living in the world, that we are not to live in the spirit of the world. We're not to go with the flow of culture. We're not to look like the world. We have the Spirit of God within us. We should look different. We should sound different. We should act differently than this world because we're working, living, loving out of the Spirit of God. We are to make judgments based on the Spirit of God, not the spirit of this world. So this is why it's so important that we are guarding our hearts, searching our own hearts, and asking if there's any sin and evil way in us so that the Spirit of God can move freely within us. So that is 1 Corinthians chapter 2. And in our next video, we're going to talk about the church and some of its leaders.